Welcome back, Marley. How are you?
Great, how are you?
Doing awesome. I have
Amazing.
really good bad news to share this week that I'm super excited about. Are you ready?
I'm excited because I don't actually know what you're going to say.
I know. All right. So Realtor.com came out with the worst markets over the last 2 years for home sales versus where they were 2 years ago. Number one was Tucson, Arizona. Don't care. Number two, Las Vegas, Nevada. Don't care. Number three, Charleston, South Carolina. November 2021 home sales, 1,513 or 1,513. November 22 home sales, 1 year later, 633. That's a 58.2% drop. It was the third worst in the country. I was saying it was bad in November. These are the stats that back it up. Give me some good news. Why is January and February potentially better?
Oh, well, let me tell you some great news. One, it's going to really help get out the weak out of our market. So that's great news,
What does
right?
that mean? Like bad realtors and bad loan officers, or like
Realtors and mortgage lenders that don't know how to hustle their donkey butts off.
a donkey butt? Okay, I'm
Donkey
with you
butts.
so far. Good. We got to get hard workers in here. Let's go.
I will say that I was door knocking yesterday, and within an hour, I got three potential listings. So there are people out there. It might have been investors, but still, no, it's actually pretty bad out there. So I just looked up our stats for February, which it's not February is not over yet. We have 114 pending, 60 sold, 177 active, which is as low as it hasn't been that low since mid-April. January we had 139 new listings. December we had 81 new listings. Right now we have 105 new listings, which makes it the lowest that we've ever had in the last 10 years of new listings.
Exciting. Here's some
Yeah.
other news, by the way. Even with, or I should say, that's in spite of the fact that mortgage interest rates have skyrocketed over the last couple weeks since the last time we spoke.
Oh my God, I know.
We are creeping back towards 7% and over. And so, again, I'm just looking at this. A house you could have bought a little over 2 years ago that would
Yep.
have given you a mortgage payment of $3,500 a month now requires an additional $100,000 down, and your mortgage payments are going to be $7,500 or $7,700 a month. But people are still buying. So I have to ask you anecdotally, what percentage of your buyers right now are cash buyers?
So what's very interesting, because what I'm dealing with is completely irrelevant of what we're actually dealing with, because my experience is not what's actually happening. Well, in my opinion. So every third house is cash right now,
Across the board.
which used to be every fourth house, which honestly I think is like a big difference. So I'm
It's a
like,
big
okay, like
difference.
everyone's saying that you're getting beat out in cash, like I will accept you bitching now, because it is every third house. But for us, I've had a few cash buyers recently, but for the most part, it is relocators and relocators that are okay selling their, $1.4 million house and coming here and saying, I know I'm going to get a house that I don't want because I just want the lifestyle. So I do think that we're still going to be getting those lifestyle relocation people, but it's the listings that I think are going to be the hardest thing for us right now.
Are you seeing people who are making that transition down here? Are they looking further out? Because for those not familiar with the Charleston area, it's very like you have a hub, and then you have kind of like the surrounding area that's like slightly less expensive. Kind of every mile further away you are from downtown Charleston, real estate gets cheaper. Are you seeing people looking up in like Cane Bay or other areas, or are people like, no, I will take a shoebox in Mount Pleasant or James Island. I want to be close to downtown.
Well, I work with a ton of families, so the schools are the most important to them. So for the most part, Charleston, Mount Pleasant has the top 1% of schools in South Carolina. So for the most part, I'm dealing with families relocating to Mount Pleasant, and they want to be in Mount Pleasant. Sometimes I will push them over to those other like D1 schools that or D2 schools that are a little bit, they're just as good, and the home prices are cheaper. But we have actually gotten a lot of Cane Bay recently. I think it's just there's a lot of inventory over there.
Yeah,
Um,
their building's still there. So I mean,
yeah.
there's nowhere to build here, or no one's building, or the builders can't keep up with demand closer to downtown. But
Hmm.
in that next area, they just have a ton of room to build, and
Next
they're
is way too
building.
expensive now. Like, Next to it is like
Really?
Mount Pleasant prices. There's houses over there selling for like 800,000. In my opinion, you're in the middle of nowhere. So cool, you have
Yeah, when I
all.
moved here 5 years ago, those same houses were selling for 300,000.
I know
So
it's wild. Cane Bay is still pretty cheap, but there are houses over there in Cane Bay. We just sold one for like 500 and something dollars, which is wild.
So we have a massive affordability crisis and also no inventory, and people still need houses. So any,
So
go ahead, tell me what you think.
what I am seeing though, which is pretty interesting, is that people that are interested in selling, they want to get out of the city. So they're
Where are
open.
they
They're like, I
going?
want to get out of. They want to go to like Ridgeville, um, Cane Bay area. They want to like get further and further out.
So I just anecdotally spoke to two people who were living in Oyster Point. One was a renter, one was a buyer. They both either sold or moved out to go up to like Bees Crossing, which is like further out and less expensive. They've been
Yeah,
there for 6 months and they're already itching to get back, and it's not the same thing.
Lee's Crossing is far.
It's far, right? And so, and by the way, all these places are far once you get there. And by the way, you're not the only one who just made the decision. So you have traffic issues and different things. And so, I don't have a lot of.
Fun facts, fun stuff.
I just don't understand how this continues in this fashion without a breaking point, because there's only so many cash buyers that are out there. Not, are we going to create a generation of renters because people just aren't going to be able to afford to buy? Because unless mortgage rates come down or home prices come down, I just don't know how it's sustainable that continues along this path. Or we get
I
a
feel
bunch
like
more of your real estate Ds that we just talked about, which, you can go over with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we'll always have listings because of the 4Ds, right? Diamonds, diapers, divorce, death, and the relocation.
Don't
uh,
really like it,
so we're
right.
always going to have that. But if you notice that we always have been talking about an affordability crisis, and I'm like, well, no, now we really are. Now we're really in an affordability crisis, guys. This is it. It wasn't, at 3.25% interest, you buying your $850,000 house. It's interesting. I am still very excited to see what happens. I'm trying to get closer and closer to anyone that is having those 4Ds happening in their life. We are actively searching for a lot of listings and doing, it's not even creative stuff. It's just our basic things that you can do to get listings. But you got to up your conversations in order to get the same result that we got in the last 2 years. I like to say it's fun, it's exciting. We drink a lot of Celsius. They just came out with a green apple cherry Celsius flavor, and it's amazing.
Dan, we need you to reach out to Celsius and see if they can officially sponsor this video. All right, Marley. Well, I appreciate the time and the energy. And by the way, I love the videos and the door knocking. Honestly, it's inspiring. I think a lot of people talk the talk. I love to see you walk the walk. So you and your team,
Literally.
literally. But we will see everybody next week.
All right, sounds
Happy
good.
house hunting, everybody.
Yeah.